Hey everyone, Mark and Joey here on a Wednesday afternoon. Beautiful sunshine, and the reason we're doing an afternoon show is, of course, you got out early this morning and we're able to play some golf, which is awesome. And we're also on the golf course. That's what the show is about today, our Wednesday show for the PGA. Kind of just a warm-up event. No real excitement in this event. Not a lot of guys there, but as the PGA has strived to do this year, some key players, some top 10 guys are at the event, and a little bit of interest on whether Brooks decides to try this week, doesn't decide to try this week, or whatever's on his mind for this event. I'm certainly not picking him, but I know that he's one of your picks for this week. So we're going to look at our top three. We're going to look at our long shot, and I have a super long shot for you. I can't even imagine what his odds are, but I got a guy who played pretty well in the last week for sure, last couple of weeks, and we have a personal story about him. I'm going to let you go first with your picks first, and then I'll jump into mine.
Yeah, well, I'm going with three heavy favorites of this event, really, without many other guys there. It's an inaugural event up in Minnesota, so very special for them to get their own PGA Tour event now.
Great hockey town, which we would love.
Yeah, back-to-back kind of events in different cities now. We got Michigan, who had their first tournament in 2009, and now one in Minnesota, so very cool. Yeah, they didn't get a strong field, but they got Brooks Koepka, Jason Day, and Hideki Matsuyama all to go in.
They didn't get number one in the world, so that's not so bad.
Yeah, and those are all my picks. I'm picking all three of them. All three should have good weeks this week, and one of them should probably get on top of this event and win. I think it'll be Brooks, because I think he'll try. I think there's a lot of room between now and the British Open. I feel like he's now using this as a chip on his shoulder to try to win one of these events and prove that he's an all-around gamer, meaning that he can win regular and majors now. So
yeah,
I think Brooks Koepka will make a run at it this week. I think he'll probably go on to win or a top 5 for sure. But I think you're going to get his full effort. I think he's trying to be more than just a majors type of guy. He wants to hold on to this number one number one seed ranking, and I think that's a big thing for him going in the British Open. So I think with the British Open still a couple weeks away, this gives him a chance to put all the energy into this event, try to win it, and then take 2 weeks off before the British, where obviously he'll put everything forward to trying to win that. So I do like Brooks putting in good effort, and when he puts in a good effort, he's proven that he'll go on to possibly win, if not be close. Follow that with Jason Day, Hideki Matsuyama. Really, they're just the best talent in this field. Jason Day has not won in a long time.
Wow.
But he's had a lot of good top 10s of late and can easily break out for one at any moment. Hideki Matsuyama has been trending the right way. I remember at one point, 2 years ago, they thought he might be world number one and really take over the game. Kind of fell off here for the last couple of years, but his game has been on the way back. That pause is not as long anymore at the top of his swing. So he's making a good season, and I think he'll make a run at it this week.
But he went through the same that some of the guys go through, a bunch of family stuff, right? That kind of
we got married, had a kid, and kind of all went at once. It kind of all got out at once. No one really knew about it. So I think that took a toll on him, as it does for a lot of guys.
A lot of more time at home and thinking about home when they're on the road.
Well, I'm pretty sure he lives part-time in Florida, part-time still in Japan. So he does quite a bit of traveling over there.
Yeah.
And, obviously that changed his life a little bit, and he hasn't been good. Well, he's been good, but he hasn't won. And I think this might be a breakout week for him. He's, like I said, just trending the right direction. Lots of good finishes. Might be able to get it to the top of the leaderboard at the end of this week. But it all depends on my mind on Brooks. If he tries, he's clearly the best. He proves it in every major that it takes some sort of week from someone to beat him.
Yeah.
And an event like this, not enough guys, I don't think, to have those odd weeks to outplay Brooks Koepka if he gives it all. So I think that's a Brooks week. My long shot is Doc Redman. Now, the cool story about him was 2 weeks ago, he finished 12th of the Mackenzie Tour. He got into the event last week, finished second.
Yeah.
Which got him in the British Open.
Big stories from last week.
Yeah, got him in the British Open and status for the rest of this year. At the end of this year, it'll depend kind of how he does for these events. Whether he gets to go to Web.com Finals, stay on the PGA Tour, go back to the Mackenzie Tour, all kind of depends. But it shows golf can change in the matter of weeks. One moment you're playing on the Mackenzie Tour in Alberta, finishing 12th, making about 10 grand, and then you go finish second at a PGA Tour event and make about half a mil, get to go to the British Open, and get status on the PGA Tour. His name has been mentioned quite a lot throughout the years with a good amateur career, so I think he's your dark horse this week. To win, not sure, but another good finish. I think you'll see this kid play so well, he will not have to even go to the Web.com Finals, or if he does, it'll be a quick go down there, get his card, and be on the tour next year. Lots of talent in this young man.
Yeah, I agree 100%. There's a few things I see, though. One is our winner from last week, There's a letdown typically after you climb that mountain. His story even more emotional than Doc Redman that you're talking about. His story way more emotional. I think the coming back of that is going to be too much for him this week. Plus, just back-to-back in the PGA is next to impossible. So I don't think he's going to be there. I don't think, and the reason I brought up is Doc Redman, the same thing. Like you say, 12th on the Mackenzie Tour, which is 2 levels below the PGA. Step up, finish second, and get in the British Open. I think there's all this kind of just, whew, my God, look what's happening to me.
For him, it's not the case because he really has no status essentially besides the rest of this year. So there's no time. He only has like 5 events left because he's not in the FedEx Cup. He does not qualify. So really for him, it's actually kind of the opposite. First of all, a lot of guys have gone 3 stages in a row and quickly been forces on the PGA Tour. The system that the PGA Tour has put in place, while making it tougher to get there, has proven to be very successful. That guys get there and they're successful.
Well, for him, Corey Connors did that.
Yeah, but it's not a win. It's not 3 years now. That's the problem when these guys win. They get 3 years.
Yeah.
So the first year, right after you win, you just want to pack in the rest of the year, to be honest. You work so hard to get there, so hard to win. Once you do, it's kind of like...
Well, Nick Taylor, our guy,
Nick
too.
Taylor, Mackenzie Hughes did it, and Corey Connors hasn't been great since he won. Hadwin has been good, but again, hasn't won since. Well, this is not a win for Doc Redman. In theory, he still has 0 status going into next year. Has to do a lot in these last 5 events to get this temporary status for next year, or he'll go down to the Web.com finals, which he'll probably end up doing, and then he has to still finish top 25 there. Right. So it's not exactly, like if he won, I'd say he has no chance because Mackenzie's Tour to win is a different story. Yeah. But second place, he knows with these events coming, he has not, in theory, done anything for the future. Now, in the immediate future, it's great, but there's a lot to happen.
He looked at his bank account that probably had 20 grand in it, and all of a sudden has $500,000.
I get that, but I mean, like, it's not, he doesn't have stats.
I got a feeling he was partying a little bit going into this week.
I would. I'd be really happy. I'm just saying, he knows he needs to keep playing.
Yeah, he doesn't have the same thing as
that's all I'm trying to say. Yeah.
But I just think that amount of money all of a sudden is hard to take in and play well the next week. We'll see what happens. We hope for the best for him. We like to see those guys come in. My guys that I'm going with, number 1 is Mackenzie Hughes, who's a Canadian. We need a Canadian to get a second win. It's been astounding to me, other than Brooke Henderson on the LPGA, who's now the best Canadian golfer ever with 9 wins. It's been astounding to me we haven't been able to win that second one. Hughes won once, Taylor won once, Connors won once, Hadwin's won once. I think Mackenzie Hughes can do it this week. He's been playing pretty well. I've seen his name on the leaderboard. He had a really good first round last week. He's had trouble building on that, but lots of guys do, and all of a sudden that week happens where it all comes together. I think he's got that shot this week.
Real quick, I'd say Corey's our best chance, though, to win again.
He was off, though, and I think this is to get him started towards the British Open.
Yeah, he plays this week. I just think he's the most consistent, and his game fits the modern style of golf.
Yeah.
Mackenzie Hughes is borderline. He's 100th in the FedEx Cup. He's not even really secure for this season.
That makes him hungry. I like my pick. I don't think Corey's going to be there because of he had time off. He's coming back. He's getting ready for British Open. He is a winner that has British Open on his mind. He's well into the FedEx Cup. I think this is important for Mackenzie Hughes to get into it. Just the same kind of Doc Redman's story. You got the same thing with Hughes because he needs to win again. He needs to get that status again. At worst, he needs to just win a second event, and Canadians need to do that. I think he's got a real good shot. My second pick, this is going to be a shocker for most people, but I'm going to pick Tony Finau to win the event. I'm going to keep doing this till this guy wins a damn event. He is easily the best talent on the PGA that cannot win, not just a major, but cannot win an event. He won one event. It was such an off week for the Stars. I don't even count those. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Maybe this week with a field that's got some power in it, but not tremendous power, he can actually get there and hold on to a lead when he gets to Sunday. We'll see what happens. I have no belief this week in Brooks and Day. I think they're, Brooks, I agree with you a little bit. He wants to get rid of this whole thing that happened with the Canadian Open. And even the next week where he made him really sound like it doesn't matter to him. He's always tuning up for the majors. I think he does need... I think you have a good point. He needs to win one of these just to shut everybody up. Show that he will play in the off week.
He's talking about keeping the number 1 ranking too, which if you're going to really want to win the number 1 ranking, unfortunately you have to win other events because they don't put enough weight on the majors. Like finishing second isn't enough in majors to overcome if DJ all of a sudden won 3 regular events. So I think Brooks really has now, if that's his mindset, his number 1 ranking, well then you got to win some other events and keep pace because Justin Rose got there. And he only has 10 wins his whole career and somehow outplayed you to the world number 1 ranking. So winning other events clearly matters. Consistency in other events matters. So I think if that's his new goal, he'll have a big week.
He did. I did read a magazine article about that he has, this is something he wants to achieve and keep. So you might be right there. It'll be interesting to see how he plays this week. But my third pick with a real chance to win, I am 62. My memory just goes. Ryan Moore, another guy. Ryan Moore is always there, always in the top, let's say 15 of the leaderboard. He's like we call Hadwin an ATM. Ryan Moore is exactly the same thing. He just goes out and makes money every single week. Again, a guy I'm looking for an off week for a big pack of the stars. An opportunity, I think, to break through and get another win. What does he have in total in his career?
He has 4 wins.
4 wins, yeah. I mean, he's always there, too. So he's another guy that I look to. I think this is a week for guys that are top players, but not top players, to kind of get that win. And quite often that happens and propels them onto other things. Ryan Moore's a veteran, obviously, but, Finau or Hughes, it would be great to see them win. Now, my super long shot, and you're not even going to know who he is, but I got a story to tell you about him, and his name's Joey Garber. Joey has been kind of one of those guys that's been on the PGA Tour. He's new there. He'd been working his way up. I think when we met him, he was already 27 years old or something like that. And the story was that we were playing a tournament, and I forget where exactly, and we teamed up with North Carolina. Teamed up with Joey, fantastic guy. That's why I'm hoping for him this week. Fantastic guy. Talked all the way. It was great with us and talking about it. Joey, you were ahead of him on hole 11, I think, or something in that 9 or 10, something 11. And then Joey reeled off 6 birdies, and we went, oh, okay, so that's the difference. So this guy has the skill, and he's actually made $300,000 on the PGA this year. And you kind of go, $300,000 on PGA is nothing. But, you got to build your way up. He's been a long time getting there, like a long time getting the PGA. I think he's got a chance. What did you say, 10th last week, I think it was?
No,
or 29th last week, sorry. Yes, 29th last week. He's been building. The golfers build, and then they're successful. It's the way it goes. And I think he's got some momentum coming into this event. So he's my super long shot. He's probably 1,500 to 1 to win. But I think he's got the game to do it. He's got the confidence last week. 29th doesn't sound like a lot. But when you're on the PGA Tour with 124 golfers starting off every week, this kind of guy could fit in, I think, in this kind of event. So there you go. Super long shot. Pay off your house. Joey Garber to win. My other 3 ones are going to be long shots, too, in relative odds compared to Joey, who picked like the horses for courses, the best players in the world. He didn't want to spend any time on handicapping this week. He just went out and picked all the best guys. So we're going to discount his picks and go with my long shots and hopefully make you some big money this week at the PGA. So that's our picks for fun. It's going to be a great event. Glad to see another new city with an event in there. It's fantastic. I've been to Minnesota many times, but it's been all hockey. It's been all cold, and I've been miserable. So I actually should travel down there to see what Minnesota looks like in the summer. But we're going to wish them the best for an event. We'll be back Saturday morning, post-cut, and give you a rejig of our favorites if we have to. We've actually been, if you're new to the show, we've been dynamite on golf.
Like, we've been really, very, very good.
We've had a couple of long shot winners, like 10 to 1. They were good players, but we have also had everybody on the leaderboard almost every week of our picks. So if you are playing, no harm following us. We've been really good on golf. We'll look forward to reporting back Saturday morning.